In May 2020, EU brought out its biodiversity strategy until 2030. So again, a strategic document. And that's where, for the first time, the European Commission committed to propose legally binding nature restoration targets.
Climate law, which also we had at some point, we received an EU climate law, which is essentially putting targets, making them binding, and then also setting the mechanisms for implementing those targets, setting a monitoring mechanism of the Commission, receiving the reports and then commenting. And
the biodiversity strategy is wider than just nature restoration law, but of course nature restoration law is one of the key fundamental elements of the biodiversity strategy, and it would obviously help with other elements of the strategy, whether it is about protected areas, whether it's about restoring nature, or whether it's about helping other sectors on their green transition, so enabling the transformative change as well.
What are the factors in human society at both the individual and collective levels that, including behavioral, social, cultural, economic, institutional, and so on, that can be used to introduce transformative change? But with the law, the EU is also making the statement that this is an important issue. It's a lot about that as well.
The main reason for the NRL was that protection is not enough. We really need to start restoring. We need to protect, and effectively manage 30% of the EU's land and sea. But in addition to that, we need to start repairing the damage from the past as well. And one other reason why we have a law that voluntary targets so far have failed to materialize. Also learning from some of the shortcomings in the past, these were the considerations for the legal proposal coming from the European Commission, that it needs to be a regulation, and it is.
There's a lot of derogations, there is this emergency brake, controversies around certain processes haven't been resolved. It doesn't have any power, this law, or force to affect other parallel policies, and the two big policies that should have some relevance to the nature restoration law and do have relevance are common fisheries policy and common agricultural policy. They are just, the law explicitly said that this nature restoration law does not affect them, so it sort of brackets them. There's a lot of strategies with which the nature restoration law is really pushing aside the difficult questions.
Implementation is going to be absolutely crucial, because it's not a perfect piece of legislation, right? It tells you what you need to do by when, but very much leaves which measures you choose up to you on member state level. But it's legally a regulation, so you just take it as it is and you start implementing it. So there is no provisions for transposition, and in a way no interpretation. You just really take it as a regulation, as it's written. So overall, the law has been weakened compared to the Commission proposal, but it has still enough positive elements in it to hopefully then drive implementation. And of course, the next big fight is going to be about funding. So also having the regulation also will allow us to make a case for having additional funding instruments.